Hey, what is up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on the Daily Drive. I'm Mike Breaux, and we've been taking a look at some one-on-one encounters that people have with Jesus. And man, I hope this gives you some insight into the heart of God and inspires you to want to get to know Jesus better and to become more like him, which is God's goal for all of us, by the way. We started a story yesterday from Luke chapter 7. It's an encounter that Jesus has with this blue-collar, hard-working, good-hearted military guy. Some of you read the story yesterday, but let's dive into the story starting in verse number 1. Jesus had just finished what is commonly known as the Sermon on the Mount, and then Luke writes this. When Jesus had finished saying all this in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. There a centurion's servant, whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. Now, just a quick explanation of what a centurion was. This guy was a Roman military officer with a rank somewhere between colonel and lieutenant, most likely a captain, who was responsible for the command of 100 soldiers, hence the title Centurion. So this guy, he understands the chain of command. He knows authority. He had worked his way up through the ranks. That's just the highly structured Roman world he lived in and served in every day. Well, Jesus' reputation was spreading everywhere. The things he had said, the miracles he had performed, the way he interacted with and included all kinds of people. And it says this in verse 3. The centurion, this commander, heard of Jesus. He knew of his reputation. And he sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him. This man deserves to have you do this, because he loves our nation and has built our synagogue. Now, this is kind of cool because the Jewish people really hated the Roman occupation and all those who represented Rome's domination and authority. And Roman soldiers were notorious for powering up on people and pushing folks around and flaunting their authority. So it's pretty astounding that they, his enemies, would say, hey, this is a good man. He's a really good man. He deserves for you to do this. This guy was uncommonly respected by the Jewish leaders. And I think verse 2 gives a little insight into his character. Let me read it again. There a centurion's servant, whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. Now, in Roman culture, there was a social ladder, and servants were below the bottom rung. Servants or slaves were seen as property, not people. They had value only as they were useful, not because they had any intrinsic worth. They were seen as disposable property. And you know what? It's still hard for me to fathom that was part of our culture just 160 years ago. But when any culture starts to rank the importance of people, ego rears its ugly head, and the people on the rung below you, they always get devalued. This is one of the things I love most about this man in the story. Living in a culture that ranked and devalued certain people, this guy, he just saw people as people. When it says his servant was highly valued, the ancient Greek word used here is entomos, which means dear, precious, valuable. It's from where we get the word intimate. In other words, they were close. Kind of gives you a clue that this man of authority was a guy who, like Jesus, also knew how to lead from the bottom up of that list that I gave you yesterday. Verse 6, so Jesus went with them. He was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to say to him, Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. Now that's pretty cool humility. And I love it how this guy acknowledges Jesus' authority right off the bat, calls him Lord, and he tells him, he says to him, just say the word. Just say the word. That's all you got to do. You're so great. You could just do it from right where you're at. You don't even have to come to the house. I believe you could do like drive-by healings. I believe that you can do anything. That's what flows out of this man's heart. This is what flows out of this man's mouth. Verse 8, for I myself am a man under authority. I love that. Doesn't just say, hey, I know authority. In fact, I'm kind of a big deal myself. I got all kinds of people who report to me. Instead, he says, I understand authority because I am under authority too. And I also have soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I said, I'm a servant, do this, and he does it. He's saying to Jesus, if I am who I am, and people do what I order them to do, then you, being who you are, will have no problem just speaking the word. Man, I want to display that kind of faith, don't you? A faith that understands God's authority. A faith that really believes that nothing is impossible for him. A faith that's not afraid to make big asks of God. A faith that's rooted in humility that says, Lord, you know what? You just say the word. Well, let's just push pause right there today, and we'll pick it up here tomorrow. But why not today? Come to God with humility, recognizing he can do anything, and just ask him something big, and then trust his heart, knowing that he will do whatever is best in the big picture. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Hope you have a great day.